I asked that they would set the video so that I could walk us through some of the technology stack of Steemit by drawing it out here on the whiteboard and we see it on the screen here. And the reason I want to do that is a lot of people, when I talk to them for their first time about Steemit, they really just want to know what is Steemit. And I can give them a very quick elevator pitch. I can say that Steemit is the first social media platform to ever be built on a blockchain, where all the users are rewarded with cryptocurrency just for contributing content. They're truly rewarded with a valuable commodity of money just for doing things they were already doing on other social media platforms. There's a lot to unpack there, I think, and there's a lot that went into making Steemit possible that I think is worth taking note of. And the best way to do that is to make note of these things visually. So behind Steemit, there's an even bigger concept. It's the concept of the Steem blockchain. And anyone familiar with flow diagrams will recognize this shape I'm drawing now. It's your classic database structure. And this database structure represents Steem, the blockchain. Oh, can I turn that to, that's perfect. And what this database provides to applications like Steemit.com is two things. One, it provides cryptocurrency, Steem, which can be sort of recognized in here as a sort of accounting ledger. And it also provides content management, really a content management system. And so the content goes in here in a specific structured way. That's what content management systems do. So what it does is it offers basically three core things: blog posts, comments, and account names. And those things you can kind of visualize here as text. And you might be wondering, well, what makes this any different from any other social media platform? Every other social media platform like Facebook, they have an interface and then they have a back end. Well, this back end actually has a lot more specialized instruments that are needed to make it possible, that just never existed in any other paradigm before. Particularly with cryptocurrency, these databases need to be censorship resistant, almost completely censorship resistant, otherwise the cryptocurrency is just not possible, not feasible. And to make the cryptocurrency possible inside this database, there needs to be redundancy, and the way that happens is you have a series of nodes or computers that are run by a selected and elected group of individuals from around the world. They run these nodes and they communicate with each other in set algorithmic ways to make sure that every one of their peers is running the same copy of this database. And if one of them is not, by chance, running the same copy of this database, then they get kicked out of this consensus mechanism. And they don't want to get kicked out because it turns out that while they were participating in this, they were being paid. They're actually being paid from this cryptocurrency system, Steem. It's programmed to pay them each time they successfully keep track of the ledger. So they don't want to get kicked out because that's like losing their job. So it's a system of incentives that propagates this network and makes the cryptocurrency possible. This is the first time, with blockchain, for the first time, cryptocurrency has been made possible in this way. This particular consensus algorithm is referred to as DPoS. That stands for Delegated Proof of Stake. And that's opposed to other consensus mechanisms like Bitcoin's, which is proof of work, which operates a little bit differently. So you can see there's an innovative consensus mechanism. There's a currency in here, that's pretty typical, but then there's also a content management system. That's new to blockchain. That had never happened before Steem. Then there's another interesting mechanism that I think a lot of people in this room are aware of. It's that part of this currency, Steem, is distributed to the end users who are writing blog posts through Steemit.com. And what happens is, mechanically, with these blog posts, is they get put on Steemit.com, which registers them in a blockchain node that then gets caught up with all the other nodes, and then eventually, through that process, it gets stored on the blockchain. And once it's on the blockchain, it stays on the blockchain forever, just like all the cryptocurrency transactions. Now the blockchain has inputs, it has data that it can do things with. There are algorithms built into this blockchain that relate the cryptocurrency to the text. And also it weights another data structure, which are objects, where basically the users, other users, are reading the content and they're uploading the content if they like it, and they're downloading it if they don't like it. The blockchain takes all that information, the upvotes, the content, and the scheduled release of new cryptocurrency tokens, new Steem tokens, and it decides how to distribute those to the end users. So the major innovation, you can see we had to really dig down to figure out how all this works, but the major innovation here is that you have a cryptocurrency system where the cryptocurrency is autonomously distributed to real people doing very regular activities. You know, before cryptocurrency came along, we were all already online, participating in social media in some way. But now when we do it, we are potentially being compensated for that activity. And if we step back and we think about that, this is a very big concept. And Steemit being the first to leverage it, I might say that at the very beginning of the revolution, things may look very raw right now, but I'm of the mind that in 5 and 10 years, there will be thousands and thousands of websites that are integrating cryptocurrency to facilitate growth of community. And this brings me back to the vision that I have for my company, which is called Steemit Incorporated. I believe that we can use token technologies like Steem to tokenize the entire content web, and that Steem as a blockchain will continue to offer opportunity to entrepreneurs of all sorts, whether they be content creators or community builders. They will be able to leverage tokens to accelerate the growth of their company, the growth of their community, to potentially do fundraising, and to monetize their website and make their community sustainable. So, kind of case in point to all of this being the future, I think it's worth noting that there's been incredible growth for Steemit.com. Over the last 2 years, the company's only been around for 2 years, we've seen this website go from being not known at all to now being a top 1,000 website globally. And more interestingly, I think for this room, it's actually a top 200 website in all of Korea. So our growth in Korea has been faster than it has been in any other geographic region. And one of the reasons that I wanted to come to Korea so much was to figure out and gain insight into the fact that Korea is outpacing growth in other places, and why is that? I think I'm still learning, and maybe we'll explore more about that on the panel later. So also sort of demonstrating the potential of this technology is, by this point, 2 years into this experiment, Steemit.com is no longer the only interface building on this blockchain platform. This platform here, because of this node system, and these nodes are called witnesses that are running the software, all of the data that's in the blockchain is publicly accessible by anyone. There are no barriers to entry to tapping into this data. Simply run a node, and you get a full copy of the data, and you have both read and write access to that data. And what that means is that entrepreneurs may get the idea that they can build their own interface and plug it into the blockchain and leverage these two new data structures, the Steem data, the cryptocurrency data, and the content data, and then provide some sort of different graphical user experience here to attract